right there in the pan. These are the type of black heavy rocks I'm talking about. They're going to be mafic in origin, which means a lot of iron and magnesium are inside of these guys, which makes them naturally heavy. You can't mistake them. They're dark and they're fine grained when you split them open. And when you try to break them open, it's going to be really, really hard to do so. So this is what you're looking for, is a collection of these behind rocks or trees or some type of low pressure zone. Dig down below that, and if you're in a gold producing district, there's going to be gold there. All right, so I'm down here along the sides of the creek where the bedrock is actually poking up out of here. So you see a lot of the basement rock around here, which is granite, and it's going to be mostly in the wash here. But when you look up here on the sides, you see a different type of strata. I've got a lot of schistose rock right here. You can see that. I mean, see how easy that crumbles away? And that's where a lot of the mica is coming from that's inside of this creek here. Now, if you look up above it, see how that's just crumbly and falling apart? I know that the roots are in there, but you see all that nice red in there? Right there, you see that? That means that there's been a lot of magnetite and hematite in it. And you'll tell because they'll start to oxidize. When they oxidize, obviously, they turn red. And then you can see the bands of schistose rock right in there. And then right there you can see small little stringers or veinlets of quartz running in there. You see that? So what you do is you dig that out, you screen it, and you pan it. If you see changes in the rock from what you're seeing in here, it's always a good indication that if you're finding gold, that's where it's coming from. Pick a nice spot where the water isn't all turbulent. Stratify that material. Now it's better if you classify, but I didn't bring a classifier with me. Rake the rocks to the back. And yeah, you're gonna get wet. As you get down to the last of the material, go slow. Look at that, just nothing but iron in there. I got stringers of quartz going through that schistose rock. And see how it's all weathering out any iron that's in there? Oh, that looks really good. You should mark down everything you find, everything you see, and write it on a topo map, because if you start to find it, you really need to know exactly where it's coming from. I've seen a lot of guys go out and sample and forget where it came from, or they get back to the house and they can't remember how to get back to that spot. You need to keep track of this stuff. And also keep in mind that your sampling isn't just a one-day deal. I've been on some programs that's taken me 6 months of sampling just to find out exactly what's inside the ground and the richest locations. So don't think you can just run out in one day, sample an area, and you're gonna find gold. It might take you a couple days, couple weekends, couple months, maybe a couple years. But don't give up. Sampling is the key. It's basically you're playing detective to find out where the best sources of gold are hiding at, so you can come in during the right time of the season with bigger equipment so you can actually gold mine. So you've gone from prospecting to mining, and then you can extract a lot of gold because you already know where to go. Don't tell nobody either, because I tell you what, word travels fast. You come back next year and the spot's already taken. Another good place to look for gold is in these root structures here. See how they're all interwoven into the spaces of the rock, the country rock? The gold can get washed up into these root systems and the cracks and the crevices. Also check the moss. See the moss? Fine gold can get stuck in there. And it's a good indicator if there's any bigger gold in the area or if there's any gold at all. The old timers used to do that all the time. Get all this clay out right here. This is Mother Nature's sluice box right here. See all this beautiful bedrock? Now what you want is the bedrock running across perpendicular, not in the same line as the creek or the stream, because you're gonna have to crack and crevice all this bedrock. If you got bedrock this close and you got large rocks sitting on the bedrock, you're gonna move those big rocks out of the way and get up underneath them, because the gold can't go down any further than the bedrock. So you move him out of the way, and you dig down as far as you can into the bedrock and you sample there. You get into these little cracks and crevices. You're gonna need to bring a crowbar with you. And you're gonna need to get this up. You're gonna get in there and you're gonna scrape all this material out. You see that? It don't look like much, but it don't take much to make an ounce of gold now, does it? It's just a little vial. See that? That's why it's important to bring your crevicing tools with you. The little screwdrivers and picks and the specialty tools. Because there's going to be times where you can't break the rock free. You get into these little tight cracks. You might even want to bring a small hand pump so you can suction out the cracks, fill them with water, and then use your suction pump to suck this out. You can even make one that you can use your mouth, so you pull in, you suck in, and it acts like a straw, and it pulls everything up into a small container. That way you don't suck it into your mouth. It's when the bedrock is smooth, like this. It's not gonna trap no gold. So don't sample on bedrock that's smooth. Those are called potholes. That's what happens after thousands, if not millions of years of erosion from the water digging in there and the rock churning around and grinding out a nice perfect hole. If you got rocks in the bottom of it, it's a good place to find gold that's trapped in there. But if it's all just sand, forget about it. It's probably been blown out 100 million times. A lot of people just go here to get gold out of the river. But I'm gonna explain to you where the gold is coming from and how they were mining it and where they were mining it and where you should be mining it too. See all this? This round river rock? You'll see piles of it all over the place. I got a pile here. If you look across the ridge there, I got a big pile across the ridge. Another one there, all the way up and down this canyon. You're thinking, what the heck is that? Back in the old days, the old timers realized there's good gold in these benches up here on the top that were left behind thousands, if not millions of years ago. So they were up here, digging in here, because there's bigger gold here than there is in the river. The way that they did it, like I showed you, is they use a tram line to get it down to the river. But that's why these big piles of rocks are here, these cobbles, these rounded river rocks, is because they were working these old benches, because that's where the old gold was sitting, and it was really good. A lot better than what's in that river. And if you get a chance to prospect in the areas where this old bench gravel is, because it's a whole lot better than going down the river. The problem is you gotta get it down there, which means you gotta build a zip line. If you find gold, you need to find out the source, where it came from, or get as close as possible to where you think it came from. And to do that, you just observe the gold. Use your jeweler's loupe. Look at the texture of the gold. Is it getting bigger? Is it more coarse? Is it more angular in structure? Does it have any bits of the original host matrix attached to it? These are things you need to look for when you're out looking for gold. It's not just about finding the gold, you got to find out where it came from. Because if you can find the source, you might be able to retire, son.